Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Estiloz with the Spiel on Entertainment, and I'm here with the incredible, fabulous guys from Netflix hit makeover show, Queer Eye. I'm here with Bobby and Tan and Karamo and Johnathan. First, guys, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, love. Thanks for having us.
All right, so tell us about this new season. We're going into season number 6. Tell us about what we can expect, all the fun.
So for me, we're in Austin, Texas this year, and it was amazing because we started filming in Austin in 2020, and then obviously got shut down, for 2 weeks, and then we'll reevaluate. A year later, we came back. So it was a first for us. First time ever we actually went back and revisited a hero that we had helped a year previously. So it was a really emotional moment for us to be able to go back and visit Terry and see her and see kind of the effect that the 5 of us had on her and her family's life.
And Tan, what is it about this particular season in Texas? Is there, a special quality that being in that part of the country brings to the show?
I wouldn't say that it was the fact that we were in Texas or Austin that made it special. I just think because we were coming, I was about to say coming out of COVID, but it was when the world started to kind of get back on track where we could go back to work, where we could see people again to a certain extent. It meant that we were hearing stories that we haven't ever really heard on Queer before. These are people who had been through it, their businesses had struggled, they'd lost family members, and so this just felt bigger than ever. And I know it was a focus of the show to make sure it felt a lot more community-based as opposed to just singular families or singular people. It made it feel a lot broader, which I think was special about this season.
Well, I was catching up on a number of the episodes. I enjoyed each and every one of them. One thing I noticed that stood out to me was that there's a lot of compassion in this show. There's been other sort of makeover shows for either individuals or their houses, and they come in and they do their thing and they leave. But you're really touching in a very compassionate and emotional spot with many of these people, aren't you?
Well, see, the key to our show is that it's a trick. We actually go in and these people, oh, see my Texas accent.
I caught y'all doing that.
I did so well at hiding it most of the time, and there it fell out. So we portray our show as a makeover show, and these people think they're going to get new clothes and a new house and new hair and food and this, but we're actually just using our trades to kind of trick them into opening up to us and allowing us to help them in an emotional way. And the great thing is, clothes can have a huge effect on the way you feel about yourself. Your home can have, your hair, food, and with Karamo, the self-help. So we're not the typical makeover show because we're just using makeovers as a trick to actually go in deeper.
And Tan, you transform these wonderful people into having much more self-confidence and self-esteem. Is that the goal of each one of you? Clearly it is, but how do you go about this before you meet these people for the first time?
We find out a little bit about them beforehand. I never actually meet our heroes. None of us do before we meet them on TV. When you see us see them and say hello, that really is the first time we've ever met them. But we get a bit of information, and so I start to understand who are they and what will affect their lives. And so I had a stylist, a very popular stylist the other day, say, "Why don't you do like high fashion? It's such a shame you don't get to do high fashion on the show." And I said, "You clearly don't understand what our show is about. That person couldn't care less about that. They're not going to the Met Gala. They're going to work. They're living very regular lives, their own personal struggle every day, making sure they feel good about themselves and bolster their confidence. Who am I to put them in a Met Gala look? I want them to feel the best in the version of life that they live." And so I think that's the power of our show. We're not trying to change anyone. We're just saying, let's highlight the very best of you and let's draw that out.
Bobby, how long does it take you to make over, if you will, their home or their office space? How long does that take?
So I get the space on Tuesday and I have it back by Friday. And there are very few exceptions to that. This season, the animal rescue episode, I did have a few weeks from start to finish to build an entire barn. And there's only been one other exception in season 3 or 4, Wesley, where I had 2 weeks to redo his home because I was focusing on making it ADA compliant as well as just designing it over. So yeah, I get the spaces on a Tuesday and I have them back on Friday.
And Tan, very quickly, when you do a change, a makeover in people's wardrobe, the change in clothes really changes them from the inside out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the best example I can give of this is imagine if you were at home all day, you got a weekend off, and you put on whatever you can find in your closet. It's not ironed, it's not clean. Who cares? But then when you have work on Monday, you put on clean clothes. Doesn't that just make you feel better? Don't you feel invigorated, alive again? Does it make you feel better? I think for most people, the answer is yes. When you put an effort into your wardrobe, it really does affect your mood. And so, yeah, it really does affect how a person perceives themselves and how others perceive them.
Karamo, I want to ask you, you're heading into season 6 with this show. Yeah. How do you think the show has evolved over the past seasons from when you started?
Well, I got to say, we keep getting better, the 5 of us. We keep getting more clear on how we help, our heroes, but also our heroes keep getting more diverse. They keep getting more vulnerable. And I just think the more you watch our show, the more you get to see stories that you might not have ever heard about. And you also just see us like flourishing as hosts and talent, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, Johnathan, I hope this will be a fun surprise for you. You have a broad fan base, but I have a friend who has a 10-year-old niece who not only watches the show each time, but she's in love with you, my friend. What is the secret of the show's broad-based success? And do you have a message for Natalie?
Well, first of all, Natalie, love you back, and just thank you so much for watching the show and supporting our show. We're so grateful for you. And I think that some of it, is that we really care about what we do. We care about each other. We care about the people who we help. And I think that that's an authentic connection that continues to come across. And I think that we also have an incredible team who helps us, out when we're actually doing these makeovers. And it's our passion, it's our connection, it's also our team, because I just think that we couldn't even mention our show without our incredible production team and our showrunner and the people who help us create these makeovers and turn them into realities.
Well, what is the most fun about the process for you? I mean, each one of you is working on a certain niche about a person. So for you, Johnathan, when you've transformed somebody's hairstyle into something that they didn't expect, and also, are there ever times where they're reluctant to do so that how do you know when to push and when to ease up?
It's kind of just like a gut instinct. I think that sometimes I also have to question that instinct, because it's like, well, why are we so scared? Or like, is this the time? And it also depends a lot on what the person's comfort level with styling their hair afterwards is. Yeah. I never want to give someone something that they literally cannot handle or tolerate later. And I also want to leave people better than I found them always. I never want to just make someone be like, oh my God, I hate what you did so much. So it's like, I don't want to push them into a place of discomfort where it's not healing, or fun, at least. Cause it's, we're trying to have fun out here. So yeah, I think the season, I had a lot of challenges this season. The humidity was real. It was very hot, to just make everyone's hair not get really puffy. And just a lot of our heroes have had a lot of us were going through some quarantine hair. We had done some kitchen beautician. We had been doing our hair at home a lot. So I had my hands full on some of our episodes.
And Karamo, what really stands out among the 5 of you is that it seems that you really connect on a very, very emotional and personal level.
Sure. So for me, it's really about how can we, in one area of your life, something that you've been holding on to that has been stopping you, or it has been a challenge for you to overcome, how can, in this little time we're together, as you're feeling so good on the outside because of the amazing work that everyone else is doing on the outside, how can we give you something so that you feel healed in this moment, so that you can feel good in this moment? And so that's a big thing for me, is I want them to walk away and say, well, I want to start that path and that journey to at least heal one part of myself so that I feel better and know how to go forward and start to heal myself in other areas as well.
One final question. What is the most fun for you both about doing this show?
I'd say the car rides. We get in the cars, and even though, because there's no crew around, we turn into 5-year-olds, and it happens every time. we turn into just silly people. Even though we're like reading and doing, part of our job, we start getting silly. We start laughing, and you see a lot of those candid moments. I'll go to sleep sometimes because like a big baby, when I get in a car, I fall asleep. So it's just like, we like kids in the car.
Yeah, well, I was talking with Bobby and Tan about the oh my God squee thing, but the viewers will have to tune in to know what that's all about. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really, I can't wait for people to see it.
Oh yeah, and everybody should tune in. Thanks for joining us. We've been talking with Bobby and Tan and Johnathan and Karamo, the makeup of the best makeover show ever. We are talking about Netflix Queer Eye. Tune in for season number 6. They're just keeping this train rolling. I'm Tim Estiloz with the Spiel on Entertainment.
Thanks, Tim.